Alright, welcome to the first ever Western Civ historical walking tour. This one's more of a site visit here at the historic Lakewood Theater in Dallas, Texas. Lakewood Theater was built actually in 1938 by Carl Hevelsey. He was the founder of the Interstate Theater Corporation. It's actually the first air-conditioned theater in all of Texas. You can guess that. If you look up at the structure, it cost about $125,000 to build, which in 1938 was an enormous amount of money. Its opening film was Love from Andy Hardy, starring Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. Now, its viewership fell fairly dramatically once we got into the 1950s and television started to take over. By 1973, it was one of the first ever theaters that converted to a dollar house. Dollar house theaters are theaters that shoot movies for only $1. Believe it or not, it was actually pretty profitable. The film and theater grossed $10,000 in just 7 days by showing Earthquake in 1973. In 1983, the lease expired, and the Historic Preservation League of Texas purchased the property. It was restored in 1984. The Lakewood Theater saves. That's actually mostly famous for its architecture, so I'm going to look at that here in just a second. But it closed permanently in 1993, although occasionally now it does show some live events from time to time. So the iconic tower is an aspect of what you call streamlined modern. So what we're looking at here is sort of a quintessential streamlined modern structure. Streamlined modern is defined as 1930s as aerodynamic, design. This is a little less polished than the podcast. So you can see sort of the smooth corners as opposed to the rough edges that you might see on a different structure. That's very quintessential aerodynamic design, 1930s. Long horizontal lines to the front and to the back. Most of all, the iconic tower stretching up, as we can see, maybe 100 feet above me. Some of these buildings you can also find nautical elements within them. This one's a little bit tougher, as you can kind of see. Nonetheless, it's a great example of this type of architecture, and I think a fun thing to start out with. Our next historical walking tour will actually be a walking tour. We're going to do the Alamo. So it should be a little bit more interesting, but consider this the beta version to start. As always, you can go to westerncivpodcast.com, follow the YouTube channel for more.